Hello, once again, this is Dennis McKenzie at birchgrovestudios.com, and today we're going to show you something that my students enjoy. During the third class session, or the third class out of 6-week class session, I show them numerous things to do with just a couple of pounds of clay, and some of them are already online on my channel here, but we haven't done this one yet. This one here is teaches you how to close a form. Each of these are made out of one piece of clay with the lid and everything. Pardon me. So they fit very well. We eventually, what we started doing with them is at first we call them GEO-JARs, because if you look inside, you can see the melted glass. At least I hope you can see it. I'm trying. And they're made in one piece. They're made like this, out of one piece of clay, about 2 pounds, and it's closed up and folded over. And so it teaches the student how to throw a cylinder, because it's made from a cylinder, and then it's collared in until it's closed, and then because the air is trapped, you can give it pretty much any shape you sort of want. But you want to avoid shapes that go too much more extreme in than this, because you will need a place to put your piece of wood that makes this mark in here. You're compressing this inwards. You're not cutting it away. That has to be fitted to the see. So they can make them fit very tight. We used to glaze these things, but the time and trouble it took to wax each surface of this, and to wax this, and to wax this, and a wax up here, and a wax on the side. Pretty soon you have this funny looking jar with just a bunch of wax marks and some glazing. So I streamlined the process by, and we came up with the idea of throwing marbles in the bottom of it, or glass, and that kind of shows up kind of cool. It's not for food surfaces. It would be for like storing rings or jewelry, or like I tell the guys, bullet casings and primers, you know. Stuff like that, small little things you want to keep track of, paper clip holders, who knows? But they're neat little jars. And so what I decided to do was don't glaze it at all. Just let the rough clay show itself. Add some glass or marbles in the bottom in various colors. And then I also had the idea of making an indentation in the top of the lid for a marble to fit. In this case it was a red marble, and it fit very well. And it showed up. Here's another example. You can do carving on the outside. I think I showed you on another video how I do that with my stick. It only takes a matter of seconds. And then we started playing around with adding different layers on the outside of the pot of the GEO-JAR for different pieces of glass. A marble would fit here in the middle, and then I'd open up a spot here on the side, and then add small crunched up pieces of glass to in there. And this one here has a particularly pleasing green sort of reflective surface inside. And so they've been popular with our customers. And like you can see here, you can make them in different sizes. You could make them into canister sizes, you know. But these are pretty much what we sell for small jars, and they cost about $25. So they're a good little item. So I'm going to show you how to make them. It's pretty dry out here right now in Alaska. It's about 20 below outside. Oh, I love living in Alaska, but it gets 20 below or something. It's just, I know it gets colder in other places, but just everything gets expensive. The heating goes up. It's just too much. But at least we're warm now in the studio. So I'm going to put my towel around me. I find it really helps. The towel comes in handy. Turn on my wheel. Roll up my sleeves. barely dampened this. I even hate to show this because sometimes if you put water on here and get it wet, the clay will not stick. But I like it a little bit damp. And you put it in the middle of your wheel. So this is 2 pounds of clay. Slap it down there nice and hard. Now let's get it in the center. Pushing in with my left hand, pushing down with my right. There. So, find the center again, like we've talked about many times before. I like keeping my hands on my clay. Remember to keep your arms resting on your legs. It gives you so much more support. And to find the center, I like using my index finger when it's so low. I usually throw these off the hump, off of a 25-pound mound of clay, and make numerous of them at a time. So you open that up a little bit, so you get the rest of your hand in there, pull towards you at 6 o'clock. This is all basic stuff that we've gone over in other videos, but it never hurts to review. Like I said, this is mostly for my students that I have in class, so that they can refer to this. And if they're particularly clever, they'll bring their iPhones with them on the Open Studio days. On Open Studio Day, my students are allowed 1 day a week to choose from, and that's Sunday and Tuesday are the scheduled ones. But if somebody has shifting hours or can't make those days, but could make, let's say, a Wednesday afternoon or something like that. Usually if they set that up with me in advance, that can be done. So we're not sticklers with it. So we've made our opening, we flattened the bottom, and now I'm going to use the C-grip, holding onto the side here with my hand, and bring it up into a cylindrical form. Close it up a little bit more at the bottom. Collar it up a little bit from underneath like this. Keep the wheel going relatively brisk when you collar. This teaches you how to collar in. So I'm going to get it a little more wet. And you kind of want to keep it a bit on the thick side because you are going to be pushing in with that stick. You don't want to make these real thin. Then take out the water that's in the bottom. Use my sponge on a stick here. I've been producing mugs lately, trying to get a step on the summer season. So that's cleaned out our bottom. Now we can focus on closing up the top. So what I like to do when I'm collaring something is I'll push the clay between right here. And this helps it stay centered so it doesn't get that all wobbly kind of thing when you're doing this. Sometimes if it's too thin, it'll do that a lot and go all out of shape on you. So you just continue to close this in and it becomes thicker. So I throw a little bit of this to make it thinner. Just using my finger here and brace instead of using a pinch, a modified C-grip. Increase your speed relatively fast. Start squeezing and then just squeeze it together and the top comes off. What I like doing next is using a stainless steel rib. Or at first, maybe I'll just flatten this by hand like this and feel it a little bit better. And let's see, I'll make sure that the side's kind of straight. You can make these so that you can hardly see the seam. Maybe that's what we'll shoot for today. And then I flatten out the top or give it whatever kind of shape you want. You could even close this so that you had a knob on the top. Robin Hopper calls those knob and alls. And at first we used to make those, but then I decided I liked decorating the outside surface more, so I made them into what I call the GEO-JAR. So I'm going to make a place for the marble to go first. So I'm going to make one spot here and just sort of push down, make an indentation, make it deep enough so that one marble will not flow over the edge of the pot. Sometimes I like to use a needle tool, just the back end of it. Clean it off here a little bit. Make lumps of clay in it. Kind of widen that a little bit. And then make this into a decorative form here. And then I'll make another spot to put some glass. I'll just go down with my needle tool's handle and just push straight down. So that should make it kind of interesting. Some of these little things like this you can fix up during the trimming stage. So glass is going to go in here and in here. So now we're ready to make the lid part of it. And what you need is a stick about this thick. And you wet it. And you hold it at about 3 o'clock up fairly high. And like this, right against the clay. And you have the wheel turning, of course, and you're pushing straight in. And that's about it. So this has made the ridge, makes a flat spot on it, and on this. And there you have your GEO-JAR. That's all there is to it. I've made another video that I'll be putting online at the same time as this one, and that's trimming the GEO-JAR. So do that with this. Cut down with my stick a little bit under it, because I know it kind of curves down there, the base. Make about a ½ inch groove underneath the pot. I like using lifters. A lot of potters don't. I don't see much difference one way or the other. It's easier to get your pots off the wheel using lifters, and then cut it with your string. Take your lifters or your hands, turn the wheel slightly, that breaks it free, stick it over on your wear board, and you're ready to start another one. So if I had a pile of 25 pounds of clay, I'd center the next top piece of clay and go do another one, another one, another one, on it goes. So that's all there is to the GEO-JAR, and it's a popular little item that folks enjoy making. So that's all for now, and we'll see you next time. This is Dennis McKenzie, Birch Grove Studio, wishing you well. Thank you for watching, and hope you can sign for one of my classes one of these days if you're just reaching out on this. See you again.